Hello out there, this is the Irate Veteran coming at you with another video. Before we start, let me thank my sponsors. Let me read this little disclaimer. I am not recommending any specific lawyer or law firm to veterans. Veterans need to conduct their own due diligence before selecting a lawyer or law firm as their representative. Mr. Greg Rada and Wesson Dunn are my sponsors, and thank you very much for being my sponsors. That being said, let's move on to my NEXUS provider series. This video is not an endorsement of any of these providers. Their NEXUS letters may be crap or great. It's buyer beware. I haven't done any evaluation of these sites. This is just a list of websites, pricing, and their medical credential when I could tell. The following videos, I will be dividing them into three categories. Providers I would not use, providers are worth a try, and then providers I recommend using. To get my recommendation, I will charge them a fee to do a test of their ability to write a quality NEXUS. Should they pass my test, I'll make a video recommending them to veterans. I have contacted all the providers on this list with the initial evaluation of their websites, and I found some pretty questionable things that bother me, and I've sent that as fair warning to all these providers that I'll be doing a video series calling them out should I need to. I also offer to assess their service and so they can become a recommended provider, and I will assist them in doing it better should they want that assistance. All right, let's jump right into it. Let's start with mental health NEXUS. Who can do them, right? I've seen NEXUS letters from probably every level of mental health provider that there is. Do they meet VA's reasonable expectation that they're giving a quality NEXUS opinion based on their credential? Hard to say, but this DBQ that I'm showing you gives us kind of an idea of what type of provider the VA is looking for, at least to do DBQs, right? They're looking for a board certified, board eligible psychiatrist or a licensed doctorate level psychologist, right? That's it. That's the only two people who on their own can fill out a DBQ. It makes sense that if you want to get a mental health NEXUS written, that you would use one of the people who can actually fill out the DBQ also, right? I don't know if the VA will accept a mental health NEXUS from people who meet the qualification to fill out the DBQ. Now, there are lots of levels of mental health providers, as long as they're under the supervision, the close supervision of a board eligible or board certified psychiatrist or a licensed doctorate level psychologist. As long as they're under supervision, they can still write a NEXUS. Question is, how do you know? Here's the thing. If you're going to go get a mental health NEXUS, ask if they're not a doctorate level psychologist or licensed doctorate level psychologist or a board certified or board eligible psychiatrist. Well, then you need to ask them, okay, well, I get it. You're a mental health social worker. Are you under the supervision of, you need to ask these questions, right? Otherwise, your letter may not. And let me tell you, when the VA does not accept a NEXUS letter, they never say why. What they say is that the VA medical opinion outweighed your medical opinion, right? They don't say why it outweighed it, right? So they may, in fact, be throwing it out because the wrong kind of person wrote it. You just don't know. So if you do a mental health NEXUS letter, get it from at least someone who's listed here on the DBQ as a authorized provider. Mental health NEXUS. Okay, I found quite a few providers, and I've kind of listed them from least expensive to the most expensive. What I have in green is there's an upfront charge for sure. Some of those fees you will not get back if they do an assessment. And if their assessment is that they really can't give you a NEXUS letter, well, then you're going to keep that upfront money often. Not all of these providers. You'll need to go to their website and check for yourself. But you notice at least these first 8 are psychologists or psychiatrists, and they're all under $1,000, right? So not bad. The red for telemedic.com or whatever that is. I have that psychologist in red because it's not clear by looking at their website that a psychologist actually writes it. So go look at yourself if you want to use that service. And then American Medical Experts, I have their price in red because it seems to be kind of a floating target. It may be more than that. It's kind of unclear. I was a little confused. I get confused easily. And then there are some, as a matter of fact, on the last page too, that don't list who their credential is. And there's some that don't list price or credential. So here they are, 19 mental health providers. So all their websites are here. If you need a mental health nexus, check one of them out. Let's go to physical condition nexus. Who can provide? Well, pretty much a lot of different people. Medical doctors, nurse practitioners, physician's assistants, chiropractors, dentists, audiologists, physical therapists. Again, each can give a nexus in their specific area of expertise. Right? So, for example, if it's a dental condition, a dentist would be the best person, right? Something to do with your hearing, an audiologist. And physical therapists, yes, physical therapists absolutely have a lot of medical knowledge, especially about how the joints work and relate to each other, right? Because, what they try to do at physical therapy is get you working right, right? So they have a lot of knowledge in that area. They certainly can write nexus for those type of things. Do you need a specialty MD? Is it best or not? Yes and no, right? The VA more than likely is going to have a nurse practitioner or a PA do the nexus opinion. Maybe an MD. So let's say, for example, a PA does a negative medical opinion and you get a nexus, and let's say it's about headaches, and you go and get a nexus from a neurologist, right? Well, they're an expert in that field, right? And so, their opinion, of course, may in fact have more weight because that's their specialty, or a podiatrist on foot conditions. But let me say this also, though. I've reviewed hundreds of thousands of board decisions, and I've only found one at all, where a judge specifically went with the expert, right? Where he specifically called it out. Aha, this guy's an expert in the field. I'm taking his opinion. Claim approved. Right? So that can happen, but it's rare, right? So I don't think you need to worry about that too much. There are times where it might be a factor, right? But I think that's rare. So let's just move on. Okay, physical condition nexus. There's a lot of providers. I found a lot of them. And I didn't list everybody either, right? So I should have said this earlier. But, what I did is a normal Google search, right? And I found tons of them. I was actually stunned at how many. And notice, here's an NP that does them for $400. It's pretty damn good. But if you go down the list here, all the way to the bottom, basically below $700, right, you can get a nexus from lots of different people. There's, of course, one that doesn't say what their credentials they use. But this first page looked pretty good. And then there's more, and here's the same principle with American Medical Experts for their physical conditions. I really can't tell where that bottom end price is, but at the higher end, they say it could be up to $4,000. And then, there's still some of these upfront costs for different providers. One I want to mention is Patriot Path. They list for $1,500, you can actually have 5 nexus. So 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 is going to cost you $1,500, right? So if you have more than one, that might be a place to look at. Again, though, a lot of them don't have a credential. They just don't say who's going to give you your nexus, right? It'll be a surprise. I don't know if that's a good thing with nexus letters. So you should think about that. But some places don't list their pricing or credential. All right, so here's the last page. This is the end of the video, by the way. The 4 I want to mention really at the bottom are Trajector Medical. I'm not sure they do Nexus. I was told they did. I actually called them, and the person on the phone said they do things, but she would not say they did a NEXUS. She danced around the word, but she would not use that word. I suspect they don't do them, but they might. I don't even know how to go about it, because when I called, I couldn't get them. Here's what they want to do, some of these places. They want to talk you into something, right? Maybe that you don't need. I don't like it when I call and ask if you do NEXUS and they can't just say yes or no. But anyway, re-medical, same issue. Actually, a couple of veterans have told me they got their NEXUS from them, but I called them and I got the person on the phone because I couldn't make out from their website if they do NEXUS. So when I called them, the woman I talked to said, oh, that's a different department. Let me transfer you to that extension. And then a message came up and said, that extension is no longer in use, and hung up. So I called back. And this time I got a guy on the phone. He specifically said, no, we do not do NEXUS statements. All right, so I don't know if they do or not, because one of the people said they did and one of them said they didn't. But the bottom two websites said they're going to send you to re-medical to get your NEXUS, right? So at least two other websites, and actually I'm not sure what they do. They say they offer NEXUS, but they say they're going to send you the re-medical to get them. Right? So just go to re-medical, right? Even though I tried and it seems like they don't do it. So just kind of funny. Okay, that's it for this video. Again, more videos are going to follow where I'm going to be evaluating these people, and we'll see what happens. Anyway, irate veteran out.